Welcome to Clusterhead Garage, a different part of my channel. Today's vlog, we are going to be changing valve cover gaskets on this 79 Malibu. You see a car cover because the car is stored for the winter, and I'm going to be replacing the valve cover and gaskets today because I've got future plans for other things, and I need to remove these valve covers to put them on something else, and I've got another set that I'm going to show you that I'm going to put on. So in today's video, you're going to learn how to replace valve covers and gaskets on a small block Chev. Really any small block Chev, 267 cubic inch, 305, 307, 283, 327, 350, and a small block 400. They're all the same as far as like how you replace the valve covers and the gaskets. Even on a big block Chev, whether it's a 396, 427, or 454, a valve cover and a gasket's pretty much the same. I'm just trying to do a few more how-to videos to maybe help you if you're doing some repairs at home. Pay close attention, because if you don't do it right, they'll leak. So I'll just show you the car here. What we have here is a 1979 Malibu. I know you can't really see a whole lot of the car, but it's got a 305 4-barrel with headers and dual exhaust. And today we're going to be taking these valve covers off and replacing them with another set and with some new gaskets. And I'll show you how to do that. So for today's job, what you're going to need is a drink, some gloves, a scraper. You can use one of these. I don't necessarily like them. Some black silicone, which will help to adhere the quart gasket onto the valve cover. These are the replacement valve covers that I'm putting on. They've already been cleaned and painted. You want to make sure that when you go to change these, that they are clean on the inside. Wipe them down if you can, get them cleaned, and if you can, have the opportunity to paint them. So what we're going to do now is take off the air breather so we can access the valve covers. It's going to be a little bit harder today because I've got this thing up on jack stands and it's sitting a bit higher, but that's okay. I'm tall. It won't be too much of a problem. So you want to pull the PCV valve out off to the side there. It's not really going to go anywhere, so I don't have to worry about it. Now I've used some tie straps to make a little loom here for the wires, so I'm going to have to cut them off. Now this side will be a little bit easier. You need a 3/8 socket extension. Just want to make sure that these are loose to crack them off. Now, valve cover gaskets are generally not overly tight, and these are loose, so you can kind of unthread these by hand. So this bracket was pushing on the valve cover, so I just undid it a little bit, and now the valve cover should just slide off. And just try to be gentle and careful. You're not really going to get any oil dripping all over the place, so you don't have to necessarily worry about that. There's all kinds of vacuum lines and hoses which are making it a little bit difficult. As you can see here, there's just a little bit of oil and a little bit of residue on the head itself, but everything looks good, so we'll clean it down and prepare it for the next valve cover to be replaced and installed with a new gasket. I've got some more tie straps on this wiring loom to keep things all nice and neat. Now I'm going to have to remove the spark plug, which is number 4. Very easy to remember to go back on. Gonna have to move this wiring loom out of the way, and it'll probably be best that I undo the alternator power wire so that I have access to the valve cover, and it's a good idea to disconnect the battery. It just pops pretty easy. The other valve covers are off now. These valve covers are been painted and they're clean and they're ready to go on. These gaskets, even though they have a little bit of paint on them, they were used on a mock-up engine. So we're going to be using these gaskets. They're still good. And we're just going to use this Permatex adhesive sealant. So it'll help seal between the actual gasket valve cover and the head itself. I like to, when I put the cap on, I like to cut it on a 45. Oh, it makes it just a little easier for putting it on. So you're going to want to squeeze this on. So once you've got it on, you're going to want to take your finger and run it like caulking, and just kind of run along the edge to ensure that you're going to get a good seal before you put the gasket on. Now you want to take the valve cover gasket and just lay that on top. Just kind of hold on to the valve cover, and if you have any excess silicone that's come off, you just wipe it off. Now you're going to want to put a little bit of silicone around here, maybe not so much as the underneath the gasket and the valve cover, but just enough to ensure it has a good seal. Now here's the part I'm going to try not to swear, meaning that I'm trying not to get the silicone on anything else but the head. It's going to be trickier on this side, simply because of the location and the fact that I'm unable to work from the passenger side. Hopefully it just should pop on just like so. Now we just have to line up the bolt holes. Usually what I like to do prior to putting the nut in is you can grab a small flathead or a scriber and just try to line up the holes, make sure that the gasket, everything is lined up straight so that when you go to put the bolts in the valve cover, they don't squeeze out. I've seen that happen too. Everything seems great. I like to finger tight these bolts first. You don't want to cross thread them. It's pretty difficult to do, but I'm sure it has happened. I like to put the bottom ones in so that way the valve cover doesn't want to slide around too much. just until it starts to get snug, then you let go. Now it'll be easier to drop the top ones in and use the extension in your 3/8 socket just to kind of guide it in. Now you do not want to over tighten valve cover bolts. I believe they're around 20 pounds, foot-pounds. I'll have to check the manual, but you just kind of want them snug. You don't want to over tighten them. I've seen people over tighten valve cover bolts, and it doesn't do anything but push the gasket out, and then you've got a leak. Now, I've been doing this long enough. I know not to over tighten these. And I want to crisscross the pattern. And you just go over them. Make sure they're just snug. You don't want a reef on these. Passenger side valve cover is now done. We just have to reinstall everything. Okay, so now we're going to repeat this process for the driver's side valve cover. We're going to put some silicone on it, put the gasket on, silicone again, and install the valve cover. Just basically repeat the exact same process. Okay, so now we're going to put the valve cover on the driver's side. You want to make sure that you put your PCV valve and your oil fill on the correct side. It's going to be a bit of a challenge. We should just slide over and drop in, just like so. And like I said, you want to use a little punch or something straight that'll fit in the hole of the valve cover so you can get the bolt holes in the correct spot. Don't be alarmed if you get a little bit of silicone on the valve cover. This ain't no show car, that's for sure, but sure does make life easier if things are a lot nicer and cleaner. So now you want to just reinstall everything, make sure your hoses are back, your spark plug wires are in the correct position, put the air cleaner back on, and then you are done. And I had to loosen the Now you just kind of want to make sure that everything's hooked back up. We got our spark plug wires back on, alternators hooked back up, vacuum lines are out of the way. The only thing that isn't correct is this grommet that goes into the valve cover. I'll pick another one of those up. On this side everything seems tight and secure and looks like no leaks. So that is how you change valve cover gaskets on a small block Chevy. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with somebody who may need it, and subscribe to this channel. If you check on my other playlist, you'll notice that I have some non-ELTA automotive vlogs. What that means is I belong to a car club and called the ELTA, and we do a lot of automotive hot rod events. And if you want to check out that playlist, I'll put the link in the description, or it'll be at the end of the video. As well, I also do inspiring positive vlogs to help people that are in chronic pain like myself. So please subscribe, like, and share. Have a great day and stay positive, and thanks for watching.